Hey everyone, MeltingMan234 here with another casual review. And this time it's Thomas and Friends, The Adventure Begins. Yeah, these casual reviews are going to be as random as they can be. This film was released in 2015 to celebrate the franchise's 70th anniversary and features a collection of adaptations from the original Thomas the Tank Engine stories. Yeah, I've had a bit of history with Thomas myself. I enjoyed watching the TV show when I was young, and of course, I later got the original books and had fun reading those. I guess I grew an interest with trains back then. Instead of watching the series on TV, I just bought the VHS tapes that had random episodes on them, as well as buying some of those wooden railway toys. I can't remember where I stopped watching it. I think it was around the time when Emily was introduced, and I pretty much kinda grew out of it back then. So yeah, I surprisingly stopped watching it before it was given the full CGI treatment. And even to this day, it's still going, with new stories and constantly introducing more new characters and such. Yeah, you think Sonic the Hedgehog has too many characters in his games? Ha! Try looking up Thomas the Tank Engine. Anyway, back to the review. The film mostly focuses on the classic railway trains, Thomas, Edward, Henry, Gordon, and James, along with some other characters such as Sir Topham Hatt and so on. It retells the stories of how Thomas came to work on the island of Sodar, how he learned all about the ways of being really useful, and how Thomas got his own branch line. It's nice to see them go back to their roots and doing some adaptations of the original story, since that's what the TV show originally started off before they went out and started making their own stories. I really have been keeping up with Thomas since the whole CGI makeover and all of that. I have noticed that all the engines are voiced by different actors rather than just one guy. Sure, this was first done in Thomas and the Magic Railroad, but around the time the full CGI treatment was done, I think, every character is voiced by someone else, so I have no idea how many actors they've gone through. But I like the voices. Thomas sounds young and excited, Edward sounds wise and standard, Henry's nervous like voice was nice, and Gordon, well, I think anybody can do Gordon's voice since he always has that deep voice sounding all proud and so on, and yeah. And then we have James. Seems like from what I've seen, people have had mixed opinions about his voice in the film, but I liked it. Always kinda had that idea of what James would have sounded like with that kind of voice. As for the adaptations, we get to see them retell the stories of classic tales like Edward and Gordon, Thomas and the Breakdown Train, and others. The film is a nice blend of the original books and some elements from the TV show, like how we get to see James with his black coat of paint, since that's what he looked like in the original books when he was first introduced. And the locations still maintain their familiar looks like Gordon's Hill, Tidmouth Sheds, as well as some familiar tunes from the old series like Edward's theme, the Runaway theme, and the song. Really useful engine. One thing that I found weird at first was how in the special we get to see the breakdown train is alive and has two heads named Judy and Jerome. At first I was like, huh? But I soon got over it. Their personalities are very alert and ready for action even when there is no action. And besides, this is a universe where we're surrounded by talking trains. Why shouldn't they have the ability to speak? Yeah. The climax of the film is an epic chase scene where James is out of control and his brakes are broken and Thomas tries to slow him down. That was pretty good. I really don't have much to criticize for the film because one, I'm still kind of a Thomas fan, and two, it's obviously made for kids. But I guess one thing I can criticize on is the character Glenn, who was apparently the original train that ran the branch line that Thomas would take over. He's briefly mentioned in the middle of the film, and then we finally see him at the very end of the film, and that's it. I kind of would have liked to see more of him, but in the end, we just got a very underdeveloped character. So in the end, The Adventure Begins was a nice throwback, made me feel like a kid again. I've also noticed that they've been slowly bringing in more characters from the original books in their new specials, so in one special we saw the small railway engines, and then one of the recent ones that I've seen, they featured the Flying Scotsman. Yeah, now it's only a matter of time before we get the mountain railway engines into the show. That's about it for this review, so I'll see you next time.